Hey everybody, it's rock and roll time with your pal Bobby Munson right here on the Bravado, and we're talking music reviews here today. On this particular episode, we're talking about an album that dropped a couple of weeks ago. That is Pierce the Veil's new album, The Jaws of Life. But even though it dropped a couple of weeks ago, I only just got to hear it now. So there it is. That's the album cover for you guys. And Pierce the Veil, maybe you know a little bit more about them, because you know what? I'm not too familiar. This is my first introduction to Pierce the Veil. Yeah, silly me. I haven't heard them before, never listened to them before, never gave them the chance before. It wasn't until the first single off this album, Past the Nirvana, dropped on Octane. And because of Octane, I was able to obtain the ability to listen to Pierce the Veil and find out for myself just exactly if I would enjoy these guys. And you know what? As a kid of the 90s, we got a lot to unpack right here. And the singer, Mr. Fuentes, is actually the exact same, pretty much the same age as me, 1 month off to be exact. So happy 40th to you, sir, as well. A couple of guys that are just, we're starting to get up there in age. But yes, we're going to be talking all about Pierce the Veil, the Jaws of Life. And I'm going to let you open it up to the comment section below to let me know a little bit more about this band. Let me know a little bit more about their previous work, what I might have been missing on the other 4 albums, because this is the 5th studio album from Pierce the Veil, The Jaws of Life. And as I had mentioned before, Pierce the Nirvana happens to be on this album. We're going to talk about that one in just a moment as we're starting to go through. So we kick this off with a song called The Death of an Executioner. This song is very interesting. Again, I did not know exactly what to expect. I had heard all of 3 tracks as this thing kicked off, so I wasn't too familiar with the group or what to expect from it. So very, very unique, interesting guitar riffs, song structure, solid way to kick this album off. Death of an Executioner caught my attention immediately. Nice. Okay, it's drawing me in. So good job, guys. You've really kind of you brought it in. Then kicks into the second song, which is that first single. It's Past the Nirvana. And this is a face melter. This is for the heavy fans. This is for the fans of really heavy alternative grunge type sounds. Again, I'm not talking about metal. I know I talk a lot about metal in some of my reviews. Clearly, I'm a hard rock metal fan, but I find that Pierce the Veil, they're not a slow band, but they're more on the alternative side for sure. So again, if you're looking for metal, not quite metal, but still a rocking band. Past the Nirvana, though, on the other hand, is that song. It's a face melter. This is heavy. This is strong. This is going to get right in your face, get right up in there. So again, if you want a heavy song and maybe the rest of the type of material isn't for you, then check out Past the Nirvana, of course. Even When I'm Not With You, the third track on the album, I believe, was one of the other ones that I had heard prior to picking this one up. Slows things down a bit slows things down for the first time on this one, but in a very unique, interesting way. A lot of the riffs and the structure are very, very interesting sounding, and I had to really take it in and sit there and think, what am I hearing? What am I collectively hearing throughout this whole thing? And I had to get deeper into the album before it really started to click. And that's not saying that the band wasn't doing their job. It's just I had to put my finger on it. Emergency Contact, track number 4, the second single. That's when I started to realize, as the structure came together of the album, and then by track 5, which we'll talk about in a minute, I really could tell what I was listening to. I'm listening to a band that grew up on a lot of the groups that were great in the 1990s, maybe early 2000s even, talking about the alternative rock scene of that time. I'm guessing, and I mean, I could be completely wrong with influences of this group, but I'm thinking bands along the lines of, say, Limb Lifter. That is a band that came to mind immediately when I started listening to this album, Pierce the Veil, The Jaws of Life. I started thinking back to groups such as Limb Lifter, the bands that you would see on, and here I'm really going to show my age here, tours like Edgefest, when you would get all the different alternative rock bands on there that were touring together, and you get, a lot of these young up-and-coming bands like Copyright and stuff like that were kicking it at the time, that I believe would have been the type of music that really influenced the work that you hear from Pierce the Veil, at least on this album, The Jaws of Life. Emergency Contact, a great solid hooky type song. It really brings you in, captures your attention. Flawless Execution comes in. That's the 5th track, this unique guitar work. And that's what I'm noticing. These riffs are really reminding me of a time gone past when I'd sit, be a kid in my basement, sitting in my room, turning on my CDs. I had a 5-disc changer. Ooh, I was super cool back then. Sitting there in my room, pulling out the lyrics books for the albums. And you know what? Thank you, Pierce the Veil, and some of the other bands I've reviewed recently for including lyrics books. I buy albums. I'm still that guy. I'm keeping the album. I'm keeping the CD industry alive. Barely. We're holding on by a thread, but I'm still that guy. Picking up CDs and looking for the booklets inside. I love having those little booklets. I like reading the lyrics. I like finding out just exactly what kind of poetry the band's bringing to the table. The Jaws of Life, the title track coming up next. We then comes in. We get song Damn the Man, Save the Empire. And what becomes interesting about this one is right in between this track and the next track, between the Jaws of Life and Damn the Man, Save the Empire, there is a slight little interlude, not an interlude. There is a piece from the movie Dazed and Confused. And again, when we talk about 90s throwbacks, who in the 90s can tell me they didn't watch Dazed and Confused more than once with their friends or even by themselves? So this is a piece where they're explaining, you guys are the kings of the school. You can do whatever you want. And then all of a sudden we get, hey, I'm just saying, if we look back on this as the best days of my life, somebody kill me. But yes, we go on from there to a ballad after Damn the Man, Save the Empire. We get Resilience. It's a ballad, really pretty much like a recording from inside of an airplane about in case of a crash landing, what to do. Just a little tiny interlude to break things up a little bit. Or no, my apologies. Resilience is the ballad song. That's what comes after Damn the Man, Save the Empire. Then Irrational Fears is the interlude that has that piece. My apologies, getting it wrong. Reading my notes wrong. Bad on me. But still, we're kicking. We're going along here. Shared Trauma comes up next, and I love this song. This is not a hard-hitting song or anything of the sort. This one's definitely slower, but oh, man, I like this one. This one hit home. This one sunk in immediately. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are. I'd be very curious to hear in the comment section below what you thought of this particular track, but I like me Shared Trauma. I thought this one was a kick-ass song. Really, really good, solid guitar work and keyboard work and everything like that. We then pick up the rockin' again as the album's starting to come to a close. We get the song So Far, So Fake. Opens up with a palm mute on the guitar and uses that throughout. And again, for those who've never played a guitar or not quite sure what I'm talking about, go check out what a palm mute is, and you'll know exactly what I mean from there. Moving on from there, the final track on the album, 12 Fractures, which is a duet along with, let me get this right, please, and correct me if I don't, because I apologize. I'm not great with pronunciation sometimes. Chloe Moriondo, who is a singer-songwriter, that also a YouTuber as well, too. That's where she was then discovered, and a great opportunity for her to join the Pierce the Veil guys on this particular track. And what a great way to end the album. Beautiful, beautiful vocals that she brings to the table on this song. Really changes up the game for them as the album draws to a close. So what I think that this album really kind of hit some nostalgia points for me. It really made me feel like I was a kid back in the 90s. It had that kind of alternative rock feel to it that I absolutely wanted to hear. Something I haven't heard from a new band in quite some time. That maybe this is what they've been doing the whole time and I just missed out on it. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to go back and listen to some. But again, get your recommendations in the comment section below. Let me know, what have I been missing out on? What can I get into here? But this is exactly what it is. It's an anthem for all of us that grew up in the 90s. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the new drummer, at least the one filling in a lot of the drum tracks on this particular album, happens to be the drummer from Third Eye Blind. So interesting that as well, too. Again, Third Eye Blind, a great band that came out of the 90s, the late 90s, in fact, was tearing up the charts back then. And I think Pierce the Veil would have fit beautifully in with a lot of these kinds of bands. Maybe they were on one of the American Pie soundtracks, but again, they sound like a band that belonged right into one of the American Pie films or something along those lines. So what did you guys think of Pierce the Veil's The Jaws of Life? Me personally, I was shocked. I liked it quite a lot. I didn't know what I was going to think overall. I knew I liked the first few songs that I had heard, but I wasn't sure if the whole album was going to be enough to deliver. And for me, it was. This was a nice throwback that I can listen to over and over again. Beautiful, beautiful work. Pierce the Veil, thank you for putting this out. The Jaws of Life, highly recommend. Getting to recommend from Bobby here today. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, as always. And again, If you want to let me know what else you want to hear on the Bravado, also the comment section, that's what it's there for. Well, what we're also going to get you to do, because we are right here on YouTube, and we are here on YouTube on our local establishment. And guess what? We have a lot of great content creators here that are trying to put out great content all the time, and they want to keep doing so for you. And in order to do that, hey, it's one simple little thing. Just go down below, hit that subscribe button. I know you heard it 1,000 times from every single show that you come across on YouTube, and you think, hey, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. It really is no sweat off your back. It is big deal for us content creators. It really makes a difference in terms of YouTube recommending our stuff to other people. So even if you're not as big a fan of my particular show, you might be of something else that's on the channel and want to support the other great content creators here too. So please just take that quick moment, smash that subscribe button. And if you really want to know when we release new material, which is pretty much daily right here on our local establishment, click the notification bell as well too. I've been Bobby for another Bravado, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again very soon. Let me know what you want to see. Take care, and we'll see you soon.